Cases. Cases. Even more cases. What do I do with all these cases? They're just filling up my house. I don't really know where to put them all. But I have to have them, right? Necessary evil? If you're anything like me, you've spent more money on guns than you'll ever be willing to admit to. I picked up this 42-inch Plano all-weather tactical case so that instead of carrying 2 or 3 cases for different guns, I could go ahead and condense it all into one case. It's starting to get to be that rainy season here in Washington again, so instead of outdoor shooting, we'll start to head to the indoor range. Now, of course, almost every indoor range out there requires you to have your guns either holstered or in a case when you go in. So, with this unit right here, I can go ahead and get in several firearms, and instead of carrying armloads of cases into the range, getting set up and doing my shooting, I can just carry in one and I'm good to go. Or 2, who knows, it depends on what I'm shooting that day. This case does have 5 latches around the outside edge. 2 of those latches are lockable and it has slots for padlocks. So if you're leaving town, heading on a plane, it does meet the requirements to go ahead and check it in as luggage. So let's open it up and let's see how we can arrange it to get the most out of your money with this case. So this case really is too big to get the whole thing in the shot. But what I've done is I've went ahead and laid everything out so everything fits pretty much where it's going to be. And then I've just traced it out with a Sharpie. Now, this whole thing is a grid of little square cutouts. I don't know how well that's going to show on camera, but you pretty much want to start with your rifle on the rear part of the grid. Line up your optic at the top of the grid because it does stop right here, here, and here. Start with that. Make sure you have room for the mags that you'd like to put in there. Figure out what pistols you want to put in there. Trace it all out with a Sharpie where you're comfortable and you feel like the weight distribution is going to work. Because that's the other thing to think of is, you know, if you put a bunch of guns in here and it's all your weight is on one side and you're carrying it with the handle, it's not going to be distributed very well. But if you take your rifle and get it all the way to the left-hand side, and then you put a couple pistols and mags on the far right side, you should be balanced enough. And once you have all this stuff traced out, just get some of this out of the way here. These are pretty easy to take out. It all just pretty much comes out. Now I'll use a razor blade and I'll go through and trim out along my trace lines, make a couple of cuts till I'm all the way through, especially on some of these areas where my actual line comes through halfway through a square. Once I get it all cut out and everything fitted properly, then I'm going to take it out to the garage. I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to throw a solid 2 or 3 coats of spray paint on top of this thing. You're always going to have a little bit of leftover Sharpie. No big deal. Coat the whole damn thing in spray paint and it's going to be just fine. 2 or 3 coats will cover it. It'll actually help hold some of these pieces, some of these partial cuts together better. I've probably done 4 of this particular case already and never had an issue with the spray paint coming off or sticking to the guns or, you know, anything weird. So it's always worked out so far. If you have any better ideas of, you know, finish work on this, go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think. I'm always up for new ideas. Might actually make one of these for myself if I can find room to store it when it's done. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go ahead and get all these blocks cut out. I'm going to take it out, throw a coat of spray paint on it. Once it's all dried and cured, which honestly is probably going to be 2 or 3 days, I'll go ahead and set it back in here, bring it up on camera, let you take a look and see what you think for yourself. All right, as promised, back with the finished product. We're going to start with a pro tip about setting pistol depth. Here you can see I pretty much have this flushed out. What you're going to want to do is, after you cut out around your pistol, pull that piece out, take your pistol, drop it in all the way. As you can see, it goes down pretty deep there. Take the remaining foam, set it down until it touches the gun, draw a Sharpie mark all the way around, and then cut it. When you're done, you're left with a piece like this. Which leaves your pistol flush mounted, looking nice. I think in terms of value, it's going to be almost impossible to beat this Plano case. The quality is exceptional. I managed to fit 2 pistols and a rifle in here, 2 magazines for each, and it's good to go. I've eliminated the need to have 3 separate cases by having just this one. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description below to my website. While you're over there, I'll have this listed so that you can find it at the absolute best price. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks, guys.